Get up, get up, get up, get up. Let's get ready for Marcus Maven. You're about midway to the midday with Marcus Maven. And you can call in, I lay back and just listen to Marcus Maven. So sit back and relax and watch Maven.
Break it down like this. Woo!
Broadcasting live from the OPC Pest Services studio. Time for Middays with Marcus Maven on 93.9 The Ville. Now, here's Marcus Maven and Steve Rummage.
Welcome back. It's Middays with Marcus Maven. 8150 93.9 is the number. 93.9 is the station. And I don't know if things feel like news is breaking, but we seem to be getting a lot more information about local sports day by day. Good job, ESPN Louisville. Steve Rummage is still moving. Brian Hall is in the booth.
Hey, I got something to address real quick with LSL. Caleb Glenn is supposed to be my guy. Why do they go and get him on? Hey, now I will say this. And I don't know. I don't think I'm giving away too much information, but Caleb Glenn lives in the same neighborhood as Ethan Moore, so I think that's kind of cheating, right?
Did Ethan Moore have Caleb Glenn on?
Yeah. So Caleb Glenn jumped on last night. So LSL's every Wednesday night from 6 to 8 o'clock right here on 93.9 The Ville. Caleb actually had a game at 6:30, so he jumped on with them at like 6:03 for about like 6-7 minutes. Some of the people who listen to that interview, you'll realize the first thing is that Caleb has a deeper voice than anybody here at the whole studio.
Really?
and the kid's like 15 years old. And he is a guy that's very, I guess, short-worded.
Yeah, right.
But he's getting better at it. He's working on his interview skills. As his parents are actually working with him on it because they know that he's a big-time prospect,
yep.
So he's going to have to be doing a lot of these over time. So they're working with him. He did a good job last night, but it was kind of some just quick one-hitter things. He talked about, what Coach Mack was kind of talking to him about, and he says that Coach Mack's kind of telling him that he could be the last, piece of the puzzle for a Final Four run and that he could be a hometown hero. And he talked a little bit about his visit, and he said that he really enjoyed the campus. He didn't go into a lot of detail, but he said the facilities were some of the best he'd seen and different things like that. But I just had to get that off my chest real quick because Ethan Moore, you're not supposed to slip under me and get Caleb on, but I do understand because they do live right down the street from each other.
Listen, such is the risk. Every time we say a good idea, every time we use a good idea on the radio, it's amazing. It is amazing how fast our predatory environment takes our guests. I mean, it just happens. So you think it was just coincidence that we brought up bringing Caleb Glenn on, and one day later he's Brian? Right? Listen, even if it is a coincidence, I don't care. I've been undercut way too many times for me to even just believe in coincidences anymore.
Well, I'll take it one step further. So I actually was on a phone call with Victor Glenn last night, Caleb's dad, and we'll get Caleb on our show. Don't worry. He'll be on our show whenever we want him.
No, and here's the thing. I'm obviously joking, but we do prefer the parent connection anyway. Because like I said, as an alum, sometimes I do wonder if I am a basketball player and alum, I wonder where the lines are. Listen, it's like Coach Mack said. You don't realize. Of course
He's listening. He said it was a coincidence. It has been in the works.
Okay, listen, I got no problem, but Ethan, I don't believe in coincidences anymore, and don't take it personal. So, but just like Coach Mack said in an interview earlier, violations happen all the time, knowingly, unknowingly. You report violations every single month on something you've done. Like I said, but between improper email response to a question, I mean, it happens every single month. I remember one time I had to go talk to compliance and Kenny Klein because I mentioned Reese Gaines' name while he was a commit and he hadn't signed yet. And as soon as I did that,
Madisonville, Wisconsin.
Yes, that was an NCAA violation. and we had to self-report that. And I think we were under probation at the same time, but you get what I'm saying. Like easy, those kind of things happen all
I
the
was
time.
just messing, but yeah, we'll get Caleb on sometime, or Vic, because Vic would love to come
Pops,
on too.
Pops Glenn is definitely what we got to do.
Oh, yeah.
So, speaking, and I do mean speaking. First of all, the title of the show is something to the effect of "I'm still on one." Now, I know I haven't had the best. I've been a little surly lately. I recognize this. I thought my surly nature would subside yesterday. It still has not, because of a couple of things. And we're going to talk about them in the first couple of segments. Maybe Steve Rummage, when he gets back in here, he can bring some levity back into my life. But I'm not sure about that just yet. Speaking of Coach Mack and Coach Mack interviews. Oh, something happened this morning. Drew, I hope you're listening. And if somebody knows Drew right now, you should be texting Drew right now. Marcus has a big problem with you. Drew L. Diener. I don't know if your middle name's L, but I was in the mood to say Drew Laverius Diener.
That works.
Drew, when I am trying to have a professional interview, when I'm trying to decide on how to approach it, how to make it sound as professional, I literally mock the questions you're looking for, the cadence of your questions, the refer. I go to your interviews when I have an interview coming up. But most importantly, you speak from the point of view of what do the fans most want to know. I listened to you have a 15-minute interview with Coach Chris Mack. You literally work with one of the best basketball minds in this city, in a Marcus Maben, right across from you. You've listened to me go from cooler room to studio to conference room to Nate Huber's office. You pass me and you listen to me every day. Years and years, you listen to me and you say, what do you think the problem is? Kid's not dunking. Biggest problem. They got to finish around the basket. You've listened to me talk about getting and ones, attacking people's bodies, finishing around the basket, playing with athleticism. I heard you, Drew. I heard you at the very end. I probably should have asked him about dunking. You think? This whole fan base is a fan base from Doctors of Dunk era. Everybody's thinking the same thing, Drew. Everybody wants to know, is there going to be an emphasis on finishing strong, i.e., dunking the basketball? You had Chris Mack on for 15 minutes. You've heard me complain about our lack of dunking for 3 years straight. My last 48 hours have been miserable because I've watched some of the more athletic human beings on this planet finger roll and barely dunk in these videos. Every fan. Drew, I know you didn't get all the way off Twitter. I know you saw Ethan Moore and LSL posting about it, talking about it. I know you've heard over the last 48 hours that Marcus Maben is not going to stand for the habit of the finger roll or the alley-oop / tip in alley-oop out of Jalen Withers. Coach, Mac, I hear you. And I'm glad that Jalen Withers stayed around a month. I'm glad that Gabe Wisnitzer stayed here. And listen, I did it. I never went home. And I love Clarksville, Tennessee. I love Bunker Hill Road. I love it. I stayed to get better at basketball. I heard you, Coach Mack. His perimeter game is getting better. His perimeter game should be improving. But his fading away dunk from the basket has to be a high level of priority. The Gabe Wisnitzer fingertip dunk, Roosevelt Wheeler fingertip jelly roll dunk. Marcus's alarm bells are going crazy. And I'm not happy. And listen again, there's people rolling their eyes at what I'm saying. Coach, I hear you. You're rolling your eyes, or you're agreeing with me, or you're turning up the volume in the Cuber Center right now saying, gentlemen, this is what one of our forefathers thinks of us at the moment. Y'all got to start dunking the ball. You got to get in habit. So Coach Ross, Coach Pegues, Coach Mack, trainers, the videographers, stop posting barely dunk video. Stop. I watched a video yesterday of Sam Williamson above the rim trying to control a tip, and then Jalen Withers simultaneously backing up the control tip of Sam Williamson, only to be a little higher and a little closer, and both of them light-handedly trying to tip that ball in the basket. I saw maybe one authoritative dunk. And if y'all taint my baby Mike James, because I saw the way he likes to dunk the basketball. If y'all learn his dunking mentality out of him, if y'all taint my baby Mike James, I'll never forgive you. Drew, you didn't ask Coach Mack about him. Drew, use my name. There's no way. I knew yesterday when somebody said, are you going to be listening at 8:30 for Coach Mack to be on the Drew Diener show? Somebody is asking me this question at 12:30 at night on the YouTube channel, Made for the Ville, by the way. They asked me, are you going to be up to listen to the Coach Mack? Because I knew. I spent 15 minutes waiting for one question. I mean, asking about the self-reporting, that was a good question. The only other question to be asked, will there be an emphasis on the dunk? Because we have somebody who's like number 6 all time in dunking, and he's pissed off about it for the second year in a row. He is highly, highly, highly agitated. And it's not a dunk for show. It's not, dunk is dunk. It's strong finishing. It's these teams that don't have this level of athlete should not be trying to block shots without fouling our team. We should be leading. Drew, you were supposed to say, we have a guy that works in this building, coach. You may have heard of him. His name is Marcus Maven. He seems to be extremely perturbed about the lack of dunking. Now, is that something that you can put an emphasis on? Is that something, do you feel like these are guys that just are a little more finesse than athleticism? Anything. But what we can't have is him not to be asked that question by you. Grades on Drew Diener's interview coming up next. Middays with Marcus Maben on 939 The Ville.
Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider and are only available if the provider determines a prescription is appropriate. Subscription required. Additional restrictions apply. See website for full details and important safety information.
My husband's ED was affecting our marriage. When he first started experiencing ED, it was difficult for both of us. We didn't know who to talk to about it or where to get help. HIMS was our answer. HIMS connected my husband with a licensed provider online. He was able to get medication to treat his ED at a fraction of the price people pay for the name brand. It was delivered to our door, and guess what? Our sex life is back. It works.
Right now, get your first online provider's visit totally free when you go to forhims.com/love. Yep, free. No copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. Just the care you need.
Thanks to HIMS, we got our sex life and our marriage back.
To start your free online visit, go to this exclusive address, forhims.com/love. That's forhims.com/love for your free online visit. forhims.com/love.
Hey, Card Nation, let's be honest. The real estate market in Kentucky is booming. And whether you want to buy or sell a home, now is the perfect time to do it. With interest rates at an all-time low and programs that can get you in a home for no money down. Want to learn more? It's simple. Just call Derek A. Stewart with Dream JP Pirtle. Derek is available virtually around the clock to listen, understand, and help you with all your realtor needs. So don't waste another second. Call Derek A. Stewart at 502-314-9868 today.
Dad, this is fun. I didn't think I'd like kayaking.
Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it, but I think it's time to head back in.
Okay. Can we come back?
Sure.
Tomorrow?
Let's check with Mom. Hey, be careful getting out of the boat.
It's a kayak, Dad.
I'm going to return the kayak. Just make sure you have everything.
Yep. Can we walk home?
How about a taxi? 233 North Maple, please.
It's a short fare from your neighborhood to your naturehood. Visit discovertheforest.org to find a neighborhood park or green space near you. Also, find fun activities to do like boating and biking or camping and hiking, plus much more. It's all right in your naturehood.
Best day ever.
A public service announcement brought to you by the Ad Council and the U.S. Forest Service.
Genesis Diamonds is celebrating the summer of 2021 with an offer that everyone's loving right now. 5 years, zero interest financing with zero down on anything and everything. Upgrade or diamond, and you can spread the payments over 5 years with zero interest. Treat yourself to that designer necklace or those diamond earrings you've had your eyes on. It's easy with this spectacular offer, and everything's included, even all our GIA certified diamonds. Pick any item, divide the price by 60, and that's your monthly payment. No down payment is required. You can even finance the sales tax. People are driving for hours to take advantage of this. Imagine a $12,000 designer engagement ring or diamond tennis bracelet, just $200 a month. It's the smartest and definitely the most cost-effective way to treat your special someone or even yourself. Don't miss this incredible opportunity. 5 years, zero interest financing with nothing down, now for a limited time. Only at Genesis Diamonds, Shelbyville Road Plaza. Unapproved credit.
Round 2 is no joke. This is where the contenders are separated from the pretenders. DraftKings Sportsbook is putting you courtside with a chance to turn $1 into 100. That's 100 to 1 odds on any basketball game. Pick any team that's still in the hunt for the trophy, and if that team wins, you will receive $100 in free credits. DraftKings is safe, secure, and reliable, so you can deposit and withdraw your funds at your convenience. Download the top-rated DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use promo code WLCL when you sign up to turn $1 into $100 in free credits. Bet on the basketball team of your choice to win their next game, and if they do, you will claim $100 in free credits. That's promo code WLCL for a limited time only at DraftKings Sportsbook. Must be 21 or older, Indiana only, new customers only, wager paid out in site credits, restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. Gambling problem, call 1-800-9-WITH-IT.
CarMax is hiring experienced auto technicians for many of its 200-plus stores nationwide. Join CarMax to grow your technical expertise and work with state-of-the-art tools and technology. Apply today at CarMaxAutotech.com. That's CarMaxAutotech.com.
Last year in June, we implemented an employee stock ownership plan. So now all of our full-time staff members own a piece.
I was just going to let you go on that one.
Pride, but now this is.
You seem to be in your own world on that one.
I am a part owner. We are part owners, and that didn't have to be done. Companies don't do that.
Cox's and Evergreen are Louisville's neighborhood liquor store. Visit our website, coxeslouisville.com.
This is Drew Diener, and you're listening to 93.9 The Ville, live from the OPC Services Studio.
Coach Max said, if you haven't been playing at breakneck speed, you don't see the opportunities for alley-oops like you will in transition. You don't see the opportunity where you can start naturally like timing your steps on where to finish around the rim. When you deal with half court offenses of kind of pick and roll finesse offense, you just don't get that same level of opportunity. So now like I said, right now, I want to see more dunking in the drills. I don't expect in the actual, scrimmaging to see a lot of dunking, but that's something, like I said, I will be paying particular attention to. But right now, we're talking about new offensive systems. Hit number 2.
Whoever's willing to put out the effort to get up and down the floor. Yesterday we did it for the very first time. And you can imagine, obviously, really, really chaotic in the very beginning until the game sort of slows down and guys understand how to play out of spacing, how to play with the ball, being pushed at breakneck speed. But I think, guys like Jalen that can run the floor, certainly guys that can shoot the ball. We brought in guys that we felt like could really stretch the defense. And we're going to give them that opportunity to shoot threes in transition, provided they get down the floor. So, I'd like to think that it can benefit anybody. I think Gabe yesterday did a really good job of running the floor. He's a guy that knows once the ball changes hands, that if he can react quicker and be a little bit more lag-free than the other guys, although he may not win a sprint, he can do that by getting a head start. And so, we're just in the very beginning stages of implementing a system that I think our guys are going to enjoy playing in.
Listening to that, I think like most people, we all start kind of picturing our team kind of running. When he says running with the purpose, running in space, it is like when the ball goes up and when we secure the rebound, it was always if Cam Murray or Reese Gaines had the ball in the middle, if I was on one side of the court, stay over there. If Nate Johnson's on the other side, you stay over there. Quentin Bailey. We found our lanes and we ran them and we made sure we stayed out of each other's way. If he beat me down there for the first alley-oop, and he didn't get it, he would know to get out of the way because Marcus is trailing and he might have a secondary alley-oop. We knew how to get it out of each other's way. But
I think he's allowing Ross McMains to put his stamp on the offense as well.
Yeah, 1,000%. But here's the thing. I'm going with a question. I'm going to ask you, Brian, and I'll open it up for callers. The question is, it's a question that it makes me cringe. But I feel like I am in a hypercritical. I think coaches do this. I think the beginning of camp, coaches are picky. Everybody's screwing up. Coaches are on everybody, every mistake. Would you agree with that? Like that's the natural cycle at the beginning of the camp,
especially when you probably got a lot of new faces like they do.
New faces or talented teams
and new coaches.
We got now. See Ross, I don't think so. Coach McMahon's, I don't think he can be like the hard ass, coach right now. But I think Coach Mack can.
No, Coach Mack definitely can. Peace probably can too.
You're right.
The other two are kind of just getting their feet wet, but at the same time, they're still putting their stamp when they talk to Coach Mack behind closed doors and different things like that.
Right. Okay. So I got to ask a question. It's a very uncomfortable question, and I'm going to open the phone lines up for this question. And take your time with this one, Brian. It's going to sting a bit, okay? So I'm just preparing you. The question is, new offensive system in place. Who would have benefited more, Aiden or Josh Nickelberry?
Josh Nickelberry.
I'm listening.
I just think that
8150 939 is the number. 3831 939 is the text line. Who would have benefited more for a high tempo offense? Josh Nickelberry or Aiden Nagahan?
I think Aiden Nagahan, and I could be completely wrong with this after watching a little bit of the Grand Canyon video, but I think that Aiden's more of a slow it down, like let's set up the play. I'm going to post up, use my strength to my advantages. Whereas I think Nickelberry is a guy who gets out runs. I think the transition would help Nickelberry get some easy lay-ins, when he snowbirds a little bit. I think he also would get more spot-up opportunities. With the fast-paced style, you got a lot of slashing to the basket, which opens up the kickouts for a guy like Nickelberry.
I thought about it.
You disagree, I can tell.
I don't know. I don't have an answer.
What? You're the 50-50 guy this time?
No, I don't have. Listen,
pulling a Brian right
when
now?
I was asking the question, I was trying to figure out, because here's the thing. Aiden is fast. Aiden's fast.
He's a lot more athletic than I thought after I watched the Grand Canyon videos.
Aiden, I'm not going to make much of the Grand Canyon video.
Yeah.
But I've seen Aiden against Miami run fast and be at the basket ready to finish. I don't know. Like I said, Aiden not being able to play the defensive style was his problem. So I'll put a minus on Aiden's defensive style. So going from defense to offense, purely offense. And I'm kind of doing a grading scale of pros and cons right now, just in my head. Aiden can run and Aiden can jump. Those are two things we know he can do. Josh Nickelberry can run, jump, shoot, and play defense. Josh Nickelberry was the kind of guy who could shoot in a transition setting too, with open space.
I also think he would benefit from some of the transition. I mean, he's not a big transition guy, but I think he would get some easy buckets.
I think he is, though.
So,
I think Josh Nickelberry was listen. I hated asking.
You think
this
he
question.
is a transition guy?
Yeah, we just didn't. Yeah, we didn't go from from defense to offense fast.
We didn't put him in the best spot to be successful.
I mean, our again, you're a two guard. You got to be able to get to the basket, Josh.
Yeah.
So I'm not taking.
But you can tell he wanted to settle for shots more.
Yeah. He wanted to just step back, two dribble, one or two dribbles, or spot up and shoot. But he missed it all. But if there was a emphasis on speed, but here's the thing too, we didn't have the depth to concentrate on speed. So I'm not pointing fingers on Josh Nickelberry not being successful. I was just thinking for a moment who would have benefited more out of the sped up pace. Listening to the coach talk about Jalen Withers. Go to one.
You know, I think Jalen Withers obviously had a breakout year as a redshirt freshman. I think he's making even greater strides this offseason. He spent the whole month of May, along with a few other guys. Most of our guys went home, and some of obviously our newcomers hadn't arrived. And so Jalen stayed in town, took a class in May, and you can tell the benefits of that. He looks a lot bigger, a lot stronger, a lot more confident. His perimeter skills continue to grow, and I think he's going to be one of the better players in the ACC, and we're excited about it.
When he says perimeter skills, what do you think Jalen is working on the most?
I mean, I think he's trying to get to be a knockdown three, because I think the idea is to move him to the 4. I think he was playing out of position all last year due to lack of depth, Malik getting hurt, and he was our best talent to move over there. But we saw when Malik came back for a couple of games, when he moved to the 4, he has the chance to be a dominant 4, where he was, getting by as a 5. And I think that the ideal 4 now in basketball has to be able to stretch the floor. And so we know he has some post skills. Obviously, we're hoping that he, dunks the ball a little bit more. But I think he wants to be able to knock down the 3 and be able to be a stretch 4. The 4 is where his future is. And we've said it from the start. We think he's an NBA talent. We thought that within a couple of years, he could possibly work himself into the lottery if he plays well. But I think one of the main things in order for him to make that jump to the NBA is to be able to knock down the 3 ball a little bit better.
What makes him an NBA talent to us?
6'9", athletic. He's versatile in the sense that he can play multiple positions, because he could really play anywhere from the 3 to the 5.
When you say athletic, what do you mean? What I'm asking is, does he play athletic around contact?
I think his athleticism is more in his feet and his footwork. He's quicker with some of his moves than some of the big men that he's going up against. I guess it would be considered like his first step in a post move. I don't know. He just seems very agile down low. Whereas sometimes you get the guys who, they're 6'10", but they're like stone feet and they hardly move. He's a guy that he can move his feet like a small forward, but he can play the center spot.
That's a good answer, saying his agility is where his athleticism is, not necessarily the height of his jumping ability. I'm always frustrated because, again, I don't know if I can coach y'all out of saying positions. I don't know how many times I have to say his position has nothing to do with, if you get a 3-point shot, an open look, I don't care if you're 6'2" or 6'9".
Well, nowadays a center needs to at least be able to be a threat to shoot.
But everybody has to be able to finish around the basket as well. Or you can't be on the court.
I think his finishing, the thing is that's frustrating with Jalen is he does everything to get himself in the right position, but it's the finish. And it's just that he needs to be more aggressive when he actually takes the ball up. But getting to the point where he is getting his layup or his dunk, he's very good. And that's what I'm saying. He's got good post skills. He's agile. He makes the right plays. Finish him.
I agree with the general athleticism comment. I can't wait to see him. If Coach Mack is excited about his improvement in the offseason, again, I'm going to go crazy about the dunking.
But I also think a guy like, you say the position doesn't matter, but he was kind of under the basket by himself a lot. And now I think, we're playing guys, nothing against Samuel Williamson, but Samuel Williamson came as a guy that we thought was going to be a 2-3 combo, and he's playing the 4 next to you. When he gets a guy like Malik in there, I think it's going to take some of the pressure off of him as far as the work under the basket. And so I think that's why he's working on his perimeter skills, because Malik's now going to be the guy more so under the basket. And so Withers has to expand his game.
I'm getting to the text line here. He's tall enough to shoot over shorter defenders. and quick enough to get, okay, even with that question, I don't think I've ever seen him necessarily shoot over somebody. Like, because it's not like he has a high release or anything. So a 6'3", 6'4" guard could bother his shot on the 3-point line. Like I said, listen, this is not me drilling away everything that that's Jalen Withers doing. That, trust me, this is not what I'm doing. I'm saying, what does he have to do to reach his professional potential?
Do you think he needs to work on a kind of like a baby hook? Because the thing is we know he can get to the basket. All he's got to work on is his finishing. And obviously, if you can get to the basket and dunk it, that's the highest percentage shot. So do it. But at the same time, do you think him getting a little bit, more of a baby hook and just some kind of just different shots that he can make down low?
And then I got to deal with this one, Brian. Hold on. But Jokic can't dunk for squat.
Yeah, the dude gets about a book off the ground.
Oh God! Actually, he probably the second jump. Okay, now I'm curious about that. Maybe the second jump. Somebody just sent that in.
Second bounce.
Yeah.
So getting an offensive rebound, going right back up.
See, and here's the thing, and then you get this text, and I agree, text, with what you're saying. You must be forgetting to the spin move that Jalen Withers put on Duke, right? And I'm like, yes, that was one. That was one, and that was angry Jalen Withers.
That's the guy who goes and watches the high school recruits highlight tape and is like, he's going to be a stud. And you're realizing you're watching like
no. What I'm saying,
plays.
What I'm saying is that play is the one that makes us raise the bar for him. That one play. Even on that play, I don't think he jumped high. I think he just it was a desperation situation.
But to your point, that's what makes us think that he could be a lottery pick. That's what makes us stay on him, because we know he has the potential to do that on a regular basis. We just want to see it more consistently instead of just flashes of it.
Okay, so I want to move out of this because I know I've gone way too far down the Jalen Withers thing. But when Coach mentions him, and he also mentioned Gabe Wisnitz, or we'll talk about that a little later. I want to kind of jump out of this conversation. He seems to be another conversation that seems to have everybody a little bit on pins and needles. The name, image, and likeness situation. Can you go to that Mac 6, please?
You have states that are already putting it in play July 1. And if we don't have, as an NCAA member, have the opportunity to capitalize off their name, image, and likeness, and other schools, because they're in a particular state, do, to disadvantage. Now, I do think that they're going to get something ironed out, and hopefully here over the next month or two. And then at that point, then at least, we'll have a little bit of equality in it. But, it's a hot topic for sure. It needs to be addressed.
States are now starting to join the fight against the NCAA. States coming up with general name, image, and I do agree with Drew Diener. There was some grandstanding, but to see states get on a can't lose political horse against the NCAA, that's the hot thing. That is going to force the NCAA to speed up. Actually, this, this name, image, and likeness.
Does NCAA do anything fast?
This name, image, and likeness could potentially be the last straw. Now, I know people have heard me talk about this, about the NCAA losing its power, the streamlining of the NCAA and what it brings to the table, and how to kind of separate, what money is going where, and the bureaucracy and all that good stuff. This name, image, and likeness with the state involvement may be the last line of defense of the NCAA. The NCAA can take back, if they speed up. Again, we're talking about these going into effect July 1st. There are universities right now that have a plan to literally come out swinging. Now, no universities are unveiling their plans, but here's the thing, people. The universities that are trying to jump ahead, let's say somewhere like is it Texas A&M that has the big has the big booster?
I believe so. I know what you're talking about.
Look that up real quick. The booster for Texas A&M. I believe it's Texas A&M or maybe Mississippi State. Either way, there's a couple of programs that are looking to, as far as the moment July 1st hits, they are looking to absolutely pounce on the name, image, and likeness. Oklahoma State. I'm sorry. It's Oklahoma State, Brian.
Yeah, I just saw it.
Was it T-Boone Pickens or something like that? Like,
well, no, T-Boone Pickens is Texas A&M.
Okay.
Pickens attended Texas A&M on a basketball scholarship.
Okay.
And then, he supports them.
Okay. Yeah, I was okay. Oklahoma State, I do know. Thank you, Texter. They do have a big alumni guy too. But T-Boone Pickens is who I was speaking of originally. But there are those kind of programs that are. He died, but look, his support of the university still lives on.
He died at the age of 91 about 2 years ago, but he's from Oklahoma, but a graduate of Texas A&M.
Listen, I know his money is running his university strong. So
yeah, he's worth over $500 million.
I wonder how much in endowment he left to the it doesn't matter. Y'all get the point. Jeez, y'all get the point. Boosters like that level guy are looking to reorganize. They're looking to abuse the name, image, and likeness of their university. I think state schools or like privately booster funded schools will benefit amazingly. And listen, there could be a monumental shift, because let's not get it confused. The limitations will be pushed immediately. You may have one season of people getting their feet wet in the name, image, and likeness waters, so to speak, but there's going to be an absolute wave of, okay, first school that has this guy do this, the first time the story gets out on what somebody does. Listen, it's funny. Maybe last week or the week before, I had this whole segment set up. You know what the segment was? It was a let's let bygones be bygones segment. The reason I thought of this segment, right, is because over the last few years, let's say over the last 5 years, everybody knows what's been going on. We know what Tom Jurich's strengths and weaknesses were, but things happened, and some of Louisville's longstanding booster business relationships were severed for the most part. After the severing of these business relationships, Vince Tyree had his work cut out for him. He had to reestablish some new business ties. Am I going to be the one to ask this uncomfortable question? Is it up to me to ask the most looming uncomfortable question? Whew. Is it time to welcome some prominent businessmen back to Louisville relationships? I'm not going to say any names. Use your imagination. What local businessmen do we need to let bygones be? Listen, I'm in the mood to take back Chubba Purdy. Maybe I'm in the mood to take back some local businessmen, extremely successful businessmen. Texter, I see you already. Extremely influential businessmen who have a 20+ year history of supporting the University of Louisville. I can see the text line. Is everybody getting extremely uncomfortable with this subject? Listen, I thought the money was what mattered. So y'all want Vince Tyree to have to scramble when one guy or one lady could just come in here and change the fortunes of our entire Colonel Sanders, everybody. Of course, we're talking about Colonel Sanders. Who did y'all think I was talking about? What? Who? Colonel Sanders, of course. We get Colonel Sanders back in the fold, who has supported the University of Louisville, obviously the city of Louisville. He would make for a great ambassador to. Yeah, no, y'all get what I'm saying. Listen, the serious point is these businesses, I hope that Vince Tyree is really coming up with a solid game plan, expecting as of July 1st, we need to be able to compete with any university and their name, image, and likeness program. Is that something is this one I need to take?
Yeah, we got Cody.
Cody, thanks for joining us on 93.9. Fire away, my man.
Hey, what's going on, man? So, yeah, I really hope that we improve at dunking because I really feel like you're about to have like an aneurysm soon. So, like,
what do you mean about to? I'll be on my fourth.
Yeah, I caught a video. As soon as I saw that video, I was like, oh my God, I can't wait for Marcus to stream. And then I tuned in for a minute. I was like, yep, I saw this coming. But, you know, Jalen's going to get it. Like, you know, beating a dead horse, you know, last year, it's kind of like the shooting, you know, with COVID, they couldn't get into the gym and probably work on these habits as much as they wanted to. And I think with a guy as meticulous as Ross McMahon's doing like a majority, well, him and Chris Mack are both doing the majority of the development, but, you know, Ross worked with NBA guys and he knows exactly how to, like, you know, teach explosion and all that. So I think he's going to build these habits. It's not like a Jalen Johnson. Jalen Johnson to me was the worst guy when it came to dunking that I've ever seen out of a power forward. And I liked him a lot, but it's like, the dude, he was so low and he had the most spectacular missed dunks I've ever seen in my entire life. But Jalen
Johnson had some spectacular misses too.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. That's what I'm saying. Jalen Johnson had. I might have.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't hear you clear. Then maybe I screwed up.
No, you're good, man. But yeah, the best missed dunks I've ever seen in my life. So I think Jalen Withers, you know, when he does dunk, I mean, it looks way more explosive. I just think he's got to get into these habits of, you know, taking contact and stuff like that. So, you know, I'm not too worried about him. But yeah, I mean, if we run into the same problem this season, man, I'm worried for you, bro. So, you know, you gotta get a hold of Mac and be like, dude, don't do this to me, please. So that's all I got, man. But I think we're gonna be all right, bro. But hey, you have a good one, man.
Cody, I appreciate the call. It's gonna be either a Mac responsibility and make me only have to deal with it on game days, or you can tell the video department and Beckman, we're gonna talk. We're gonna talk soon.
Mac talked about him today.
Yeah, I know. Oh, I know. And you gotta have to stop putting that stuff on the videos. Now, I don't know if Beckman is an expert in athleticism and he's just like using his best footage, but he has to know that there's a Beckman. Maybe you should go through the history of this city a little bit before you put out your next video. Maybe you should throw in some 1980 literature, some 1986 literature, and realize that what you're putting it on that tape is, while we enjoy it for the most part, there's a piece of this fan base that's getting a little irritated with the lack of dunking. Texter says, "Oh, we need to bring Shaq in the fold as the spokesman of some organization who could bring a lot of money."
It is a Louisville-based organization.
It is a Louisville, and Shaquille O'Neal.
Hey, by the way, talking about the NIL a little bit, I do know that guys that are getting recruited right now in high school, that is a something that they're starting to think about.
No,
their marketability when they go to a certain university.
No, listen, they have to. I was kind of surprised at how intense Coach Max
for the backyard barbecue, or some miscellaneous munchies for movie night. We make it easy to get back to being you. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Free pickup on orders of $35 or more. Restrictions may apply.
And right now, you'll find more ways to save when you buy 6 or more participating sale items. You'll save 50 cents each with card. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Are cataracts preventing you from seeing the world as you should? Brightly, clearly, and vividly? Choose cataract surgery at Dr. Black's Eye Associates. Our skilled eye surgeons will develop an eye care plan just for you. In minutes, our procedure can painlessly restore your vision. Are you ready to change the way you see life forever? Schedule a cataract consultation with our local specialist today. Call 888-EYE-CARE or visit have2020.com. Dr. Black's Eye Associates. See life clearly.
Make your life better with a new job at UPS. Join Team Louisville as a warehouse worker and be part of an industry-leading organization that believes in promoting from within. Earn $14.50 plus up to $425 in weekly bonuses depending on shift. And you might even be eligible for a program that helps you graduate college debt-free. Enjoy an active job with big-time growth opportunities at UPS. Search and apply now at upsjobs.com/Louisville. That's upsjobs.com/Louisville.
Steve Rummage here from 93.9 The Ville, and I want to tell you about Vitality Wellness and Weight Loss. Vitality is a safe, effective weight loss program that is tailored to your body. With Vitality, you'll get a personalized food list and supplements based on your needs. Vitality is science-based, and in your first visit, you'll go through a complete body scan and be assigned a personal specialist. In the first week, I was down 16 pounds. So go to vitalitylouisville.com or call 502-442-2117 and let them know you heard about it right here from Steve Rummage and 93.9 The Ville.
An official broadcast partner of the University of Louisville, WLCL Sellersburg is 93.9 The Ville. Time now for an ESPN Louisville Sports Center update.
Good morning, I'm Brian Hall. The Sports Center update brought to you by U of L Health, making the impossible possible. That's the power of you. University of Louisville head basketball coach Chris Mack joined our very own Drew Diener on the Diener Show earlier today. He addressed the NIL situation.
You have states that are already putting it in play July 1. And if we don't have, as an NCAA member, have the opportunity to capitalize off their name, image, and likeness, and other schools, because they're in a particular state, do, to disadvantage. Now, I do think that they're going to get something ironed out, and hopefully here over the next month or two. And then at that point, then at least, we'll have a little bit of equality in it. But, it's a hot topic for sure. It needs to be addressed.
He went on to talk about the improvement of Jalen Withers.
I think Jalen Withers obviously had a breakout year as a redshirt freshman. I think he's making even greater strides this offseason. He spent the whole month of May, along with a few other guys. Most of our guys went home, and some of obviously our newcomers hadn't arrived. And so Jalen stayed in town, took a class in May, and you can tell the benefits of that. He looks a lot bigger, a lot stronger, a lot more confident. His perimeter skills continue to grow, and I think he's going to be one of the better players in the ACC, and we're excited about it.
You can catch that full interview at the ESPN Louisville SoundCloud page or at ESPNLouisville.com under the podcast center. Yesterday, the Indiana basketball program announced that they had hired former Columbia head coach and Clippers assistant Armand Hill to be the director of basketball administration. Moving on to baseball news, the Cincinnati Reds improved to 29-30 on the year with a 7-3 win over the Milwaukee Brewers. Catcher Tyler Stevenson led the way for the Reds, going 2 for 4 with 3 RBIs, including an RBI double in the first to kick things off.
The Reds have 2 on with 1 out, and first ball swinging. Tyler Stevenson lines one to right, and it's down. It rolls by Garcia. Here comes Winker around third to score, and Castellanos is into third, Stevenson to second, and the Reds have tied the Brewers at 1 in the first.
The Reds and the Brewers will be back in action today at 12:35. In minor league baseball news, the Louisville Bats win streak ended at 3 games as they lost 10-2 last night to the Toledo Mud Hens. They'll look to rebound tonight when they again take on the Mud Hens at 7:05. Moving on to soccer news, Racing UFC announced yesterday that they have signed Nadia Naim. She is signed through the 2023 season, and she currently has 8 goals on the year for PSG France. And last but certainly not least, just a reminder that ESPN Louisville is your exclusive home for the NBA playoffs and the NBA Finals this year. As last night in Game 2 of the Western Conference semifinals, the Phoenix Suns took a 2-0 series lead over the Denver Nuggets with a 123-98 win. Former Kentucky Wildcat Devin Booker led the way for the Suns with 18 points, 10 rebounds, and 2 assists. Our coverage of the NBA playoffs will continue tonight when the Brooklyn Nets travel to Milwaukee to take on the Bucks in Game 3 of the Eastern Conference semifinals. That game is set to tip off at 7:30, but our coverage will begin at 7 o'clock on ESPN 680. Keep it locked here. Middays with Marcus Maben is next. This is SportsCenter.
This is Drew Diener, and you're listening to 93.9 The Ville, live from the OPC Services Studio.
I'm focused, man. Tell
I called Marcus last night about 11 o'clock and was like, you know what? If you have the means to hire a moving company and you don't, you're a psychopath. You're an absolute psychopath. Now I understand. Moving is a big financial thing, so sometimes people are like, "God, I can't afford it. Extra moves." I get that. Do what you do. But yeah,
you're saying that's the place. Don't
but
cheap
if
out
you
on.
can, you're insane. If you don't, you're absolutely insane. So,
or did you learn you just had too much stuff?
That's the other part. The other part is I have taken so much stuff to Goodwill, given so much stuff to parents. I mean, listen, my mom and dad, I gave them 2 recliners, a 55-inch TV, 2 mattresses. Was like, here, look. Now, granted, some of that was from Tennessee apartment too. So, but the amount of stuff we've taken to Goodwill, I'm like, why do we have this much stuff? This is nuts. Like, how did we live?
And you actually had a conversation with your wife about this is why Marcus is a minimalist?
Yes. And I told her, I said, this is why Marcus doesn't have a ton of stuff. And like I said, I didn't mean that offensive. I just was like, if you go in his house, he's pretty much what you see is what, I mean, I could just tell
what I use.
When I'm over there, I'm like, okay, what's out is what he has. You know what I'm saying? Like, you go in his closets and stuff, there's not like a lot of
I got shoes,
extras. Yeah.
I got my clothes.
Yeah.
I got 2 bins of things.
That's why, like, I make fun of you, like, or I kind of make fun of you with your books or something like that. But it's like, no, that's the stuff I would have stored up and never used. You actually are a reader, but you have them out. It's
listen, and when I talk about moving, the only thing I'm concerned with is who's going to help me move my bookshelf.
Yes.
Yes. I got to get that moved, and the other stuff.
By the way, I haven't forgot about you. I probably would do Saturday.
Listen, again, I have on your schedule. Like I said, how funny is this, y'all? This is such a me generational thing that I'm gonna do. Most people would cringe at this idea. Y'all heard about, Steve hooking me up on the washer and dryer. Although Steve is still the funniest thing, and people still give me a hard time about this. Was he serious when he said, but they're not they're not the same color? I was like, yeah, he thought it was devalued because it wasn't the same color.
Yeah,
right.
It's the exact same matching set with. Well, I guess it's not technically a matching set, but
it's the brand. Yeah, the brand set.
It's the same one.
So I literally told Steve, like, dude, I don't care. Drop it off in my dining room, and it was going to sit in my dining room until I get somebody to come in and hook it up and take out. And I listen. And here's what's funny. People, when they drive by my home, and I have my door open, you know what they're gonna see? Me sitting, eating some steak right on top.
On top of the washing dryer.
Yeah, I'm gonna have the washing machine in the dining room, and I'm gonna be sitting there staring out the window, feeling a good breeze, and eating steak and mashed potatoes and broccoli.
Listen, I get it. No, I totally get it. And here's the thing: I've been busy. I've had a lot that I've been doing, but one thing I haven't forgot.
I'm listening.
And I will never forget is that DraftKings Sportsbook is not only my favorite sportsbook, but it's also America's top-rated sportsbook. I love using DraftKings Sportsbook. It is limitless or is easy to navigate and has plenty of instructions for new bettors and nearly limitless ways to get in on all the action. My friends and family have been loving DraftKings Sportsbook, and I know you will too. Listen to this great offer. It's very sophisticated of you. DraftKings Sportsbook is putting you courtside with the chance to turn $1 into $100 on site credits. That's right. Pick any basketball team that's still in contention. Bet $1, and if the team wins, you win $100 in site credits. Don't forget, DraftKings Sportsbook also offers great odds and promotions on baseball, hockey, and so much more. DraftKings is safe, secure, and reliable, so you can deposit and withdraw your funds at your convenience. Download the top-rated DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use promo code WLCO when you sign up to turn $1 into $100 in free credits. I don't know why I'm not holding that closer to my face. Bet on the basketball team, your choice to win the next game, and if they do, you'll claim $100 in free credits. That's promo code WLCL for a limited time, only at DraftKings Sportsbook. You must be 21 or older. Indiana only. New customers only. Wager paid out in site credits. Restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. If you got a gambling problem, like I may after next week going to Vegas, call 1-800-9 with it.
Okay, so Steve, we're trying to catch you up, or you're trying to catch the audience up on the subjects.
Gosh.
There has been videos. There's been Coach Mack interviews with Drew Diener. Satterfield's interview.
Diener's interviewed every head coach in the west of the Mississippi or east of the Mississippi.
Proud to be an ESPN Louisville guy, especially when we're landing. I had an uncomfortable moment. I don't know if you heard it in the car. You were probably in the garage by then. Very, very, very uncomfortable conversation. Okay. You could see that. Listen, we'll get to the Mac. Actually, we'll go to where you are most,
Give me a real Coke.
Too much. Okay. We're going to go to where you're most comfortable going, right? But I have to catch you up on this one.
Okay.
Because this one would have been right up your alley.
All right, I'm listening. Because I don't think I heard it. Last thing I heard was Aiden talk.
Okay.
Okay.
Steve, yesterday, I told you that I called one Runaway Bride. That the new name for this guy is the Runaway Bride.
Okay. Yeah.
And you know me as of late. I mean, I'm trying to bridge gaps, Steve.
Sure.
We've had a running standing with a certain Kentucky fan.
Okay.
That I
Mitch.
No, this other one that I met at Kroger.
Okay. Oh, right? Yeah.
So in the world of bridging gaps, Steve.
Okay.
I said I want Chubba back.
Mm-hmm.
I want to bridge gaps.
Mm-hmm.
Name, image, and likeness is right around the corner, Steve. What if there was a certain company who's always been a big supporter of the University of Louisville, whose ties have been severed over the last few years?
Okay. Okay.
And a big booster that would be able to name, image, and likeness with big money.
Okay.
To the University of Louisville.
I love it. I'm in. What are we doing?
Are you ready to bridge the gap?
Sold.
With a certain man or woman who, you know, had a little bit of a falling out with the University of Louisville.
For a good player? Yeah. Yeah. Who is it? Who are we talking about there?
Shaq and his company that he represents.
Shaq. Oh. Oh, yeah.
Of course you would, Steve.
And especially, what, Papa John? And especially if we use it to bring in Chuba? Is that what you? Yeah. That's perfect.
Okay.
I don't think the quarterbacks lately have been
would be too keen on name, image, and likeness.
Have been up to par with what I'm feeling like we should have.
Oh God.
Strong jawed, sexy.
So okay, now where do you catch us up at?
Well, you did catch me up on that conversation yesterday, and let me just put my stamp. I agree. I think you're right.
With the runaway bride?
Yes, I think you're absolutely right.
Would you be active about it?
Yes.
Or passive?
I would be active about it. Absolutely. Coach Satterfield, I love you. I've been hurt before. But if she's hot enough, you do it.
Do you take her back?
So yeah.
Okay.
There's that. Coach Mack on this morning. There was a lot he said, man. I took a lot out of the interview. I thought Drew asked good questions. Drew not knowing what tough together and unbreakable.
I didn't say that, Steve. You said that.
That hurt me.
That hurt. Listen, you know what's funny about you saying that? I totally went blank and forgot Drew wasn't in the studio. I came around these doors in the studio looking to beeline to Drew. No, you didn't not know. Or were you just I was going to make him tell me. Oh, Marcus, no, of course I knew. I just wanted him to explain where it came from. That's the only way I was going to let him off the hook. If he said, no, Marcus, I knew that. I was just, blah, blah, blah. Drew.
That was funny.
He was saying it for 3 years.
I know, but I don't get it. I'm messing with it. But no, I thought he did a great job asking some good questions there. The main takeaways right off the bat for me was the style of play.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw in the video, or the videos that have been coming out, but the one yesterday where you could tell Gabe kind of caught one on the fast break and he waited for a second, went up, and I don't know if he dunked to your liking. I laid in bed last night, right before I fell asleep. The last thing I heard was you just going insane. I was like, that's why I fell asleep too. But needless to say, he waits, kind of goes and then gets down the court. So that was my number one takeaway, was the speed and the fact that he acknowledged we are, because Drew kind of, when he asked him the question, he said, so it's kind of like a new offense. Like, but you could tell Drew was kind of asking him, like, is that what you're calling it? Kind of like a whole new offense.
Right.
And he acknowledged, yes. Like, yeah, I mean, basically, yeah. I mean, it was a little disruption, or not disruption, disoriented at first because people were not.
Oh yeah, we just started doing this yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, one day in, but so there was that part of it. The other part of it was Jalen Withers, man. He sounded like,
I was gonna say, you need to bring me out of my doldrums, Steve.
He sounded like, we're talking about a kid that was all freshman last year, ACC, who didn't go home this year, who put on muscle apparently, and Coach Mack seems to think got better.
Mm-hmm.
So
perimeter game.
Yeah. I mean,
okay, I'll ask you like I asked Brian. When you say he got better in his perimeter game, what do you assume he's talking about?
I think he's just being able to handle the ball out there, being able to not be such a like you see the move he had last year. Do you remember when he caught the ball? Yeah, and he kind of went, it's kind of like a little bit of a hesitation, but kind of a step back behind his back. And it's like, okay, you have that in your toolbox. So
but do you have counters and
okay, that's a one time.
Yeah.
Oh, you caught the guy.
Yeah.
Like,
because they'll be
expecting that.
They'll be looking for that every time now.
Right. So I think just him being able, especially if you're going to run transition, is he able to catch the ball? Because you don't want to be the guy. I've been the guy before, and I've been the guy passing the ball before. I'd rather be it's not a good situation to be either, where you're running a fast break.
Yeah, okay.
And you're like, I can't throw it. Like, okay, Marcus is bringing it up the court, and you see me cutting down. You're like, oh, I can't throw it to him yet. There's no way he's going to get from there to there. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
And
that's a good point.
And that's what I'm saying. Unfortunately, I've been that guy who I'm like, oh God, don't throw it to me right here.
Okay.
I'm just going to stop and shoot. And then I've been the guy who's kind of looked up and been like, no, and you don't want to be that. So I think Jalen Withers moving as quick as he did. And I agree with Brian, because I heard Brian's answer to that too, with shooting, because I think that all kind of goes together. But I think just the whole package of being able to get it and do something with it out there, and because we have bigs, and if he likes Roosevelt and likes Gabe and likes Malik,
there's no need to do it.
Yeah, I mean, like, okay.
But okay. So we're gonna say start finishing like a guard a little more.
Sure.
Yeah. Start attacking like a guard more.
Yeah.
And let's not waste a lot more time with you and Pegues.
Yeah, be able to get the ball. Like, can Jalen get the ball? And I think he can. Is he the caliber of player? And we've seen it a little bit. Can Jalen come off a screen, get the ball, rip through, make a move, and go up and score? Even if he doesn't
like a scorer.
I know, and it may drive you nuts. And when he falls down, sometimes it drives me nuts. But can Jalen start to look a little more? I'm really, you know what? I'm gonna just piss all over you on this one. Can Jalen look a little more like Ding Adele than than a big man, right?
That's a perfect comparison.
Because you know how Ding Adele could get the ball and he could go up and score.
And he had the same kind of like late bloomer, clumsy look, but looked like unlimited potential.
Yeah.
Like that's how. Yeah, he kind of. That's a good comparison.
Yeah, I think that's kind of.
Yeah, and sometimes Ding Adele looked like he could really jump, and sometimes he looked like, "What are you doing?"
Yeah,
but if he got his steps lined up perfectly, it's like, you might get somebody.
And he can, because Ding Adele would do that, man. I mean, like against Pittsburgh, he went baseline that time and just went up and punched on all of them. It was like, whoa! I think Jalen's got that ability, but I mean, obviously Coach Mack's excited about him. So I mean, I guess that's a good thing.
Let me ask you this: was there a little Rick to that?
Well, it's funny you say that. It's funny you say that because I've never been this guy, but I'm starting to become this guy. I was always, when people would kind of complain, I'm calling it complain, but about Mac not talking, Coach Mac not talking. And I was like, I don't need to hear him. Okay. Look, that I don't personally, but after hearing him, I'm like, I don't know, man. I think you do a good job. Like he doesn't sugarcoat the way Coach Pitino did, or not sugarcoat,
or hyperbolic. Yeah.
But
hyperbole.
There are things like today where, you're like, hey man, Gabe got up and down the floor.
He stayed.
Is that at Malik?
He stayed.
Yeah, Malik or
JJ went out of town.
Those guys, yeah. Well, JJ went out of town, but JJ went to LA and was grinding.
I want my guys here with my, daily monitoring.
Yeah, no, you're right. But it's like, I mean, I'm like, dude, I kind of like that, man. Like, I like the.
So are we getting into the next transition of Coach Mac? Now realizing, okay, this, and I'm saying realizing, like you have to, it's a process. It's all a process anyway.
Well, and he said it. Oh man, did he say it today with Drew or was that with Ennis? He said something about at the Caliber school or being said something about being under like the at a school like Louisville.
That was Ennis.
It might have been, but it was like, dude, like, I mean, I think he is starting to get, and he might start to enjoy it a little bit. Like, dude, like when you get out here and you talk, and like I said, I enjoy him talking because he said something today with Drew that was very
so yeah, you might start enjoying, taking your questions, on air. Just I'll call in, let y'all know what I'm thinking.
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
Now, don't get me wrong. I mean, I don't need to hear, I mean, it don't need to be a weekly thing,
Right.
but like, I mean, hey, maybe once a month, like do a little radio run, you know what I'm saying? Jump on with Drew or something like that and give us a little rundown. I mean, whether you agree, liked or not, I mean, I thought it was big when Coach Patino came on 93.9 weekly or it was like every couple of weeks. It was like, dude, you stopped what you were doing. You were like, oh, Coach Patino's going to be on. Like, and he would do a little 10-minute interview and he would give a good, I thought it was awesome.
Yep.
So like, I mean,
and you got him candid middle of the day. If he's agitated, if he had a bad practice, he would be like, yeah, so-and-so looked like crap today.
And it was fun. Like one time we started winning and he was like, man, I'm calling in every game.
Yeah,
I
have
it's
to call
like
in.
that was I was like, oh my God, Rick's a human, like, oh, that's awesome.
He was superstitious.
Yeah, right.
Very much.
And see, you learn things about that. And like listening to Coach Mack today with Drew, just, I mean, how he was talking about, and he was saying, and I didn't have time to totally prepare today. So I know I'm doing a lot of like, I think he said, but so I apologize for that. But like today he said something along the lines of kind of with the offense and stuff that was very blunt. I mean, and it might've been the
hit 2 again real quick, Brian.
Yeah.
Catch Steve up. Hit 2 again to catch Steve up.
Whoever's willing to put out the effort to get up and down the floor. Yesterday we did it for the very first time. And you can imagine, obviously really, really chaotic in the very beginning until the game sort of slows down and guys understand how to play out of spacing, how to play with the ball, being pushed at breakneck speed. But I think, guys like Jalen that can run the floor, certainly guys that can shoot the ball. We brought in guys that we felt like could really stretch the defense. And we're going to give them that opportunity to shoot threes in transition, provided they get down the floor. So, I'd like to think that it can benefit anybody. I think Gabe yesterday did a really good job of running the floor. He's a guy that knows once the ball changes hands, that if he can react quicker and be a little bit more lag-free than the other guys, although he may not win a sprint, he can do that by getting a head start. And so, we're just in the very beginning stages of implementing a system that I think our guys are going to enjoy playing in.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty blunt to say, like, yeah, I mean, this is okay, a guy like Gabe. Now, this fan base, we're insane. So, like, we're going to say, okay, now we're going to be watching for Gabe. How quickly does he make that transition? Is that something that he's doing? And just the things like that, man, I think is it's kind of a big deal.
How long how long do you think it's going to take for it to feel like a style? Like how like a month?
When we win. The first game you come out and you run up and you know what I'm saying? Like you run
and run somebody out of the gym.
Yeah. Then it's gonna be like, oh, this is now, because it's odd that we for so many years, I mean, we like it's weird because like the defensive thing was kind of our identity, but it's almost like we struggle to accept that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like we like to be, I mean, we had years where we were amazing defensively, but it was what did you do offensively,
right.
So, and this town is just like that.
Just you got to run.
Even football. I mean, football. It's like the Charlie thing. We love Charlie, but it was like,
you don't pass. Yeah,
I know we're winning, but and now you look.
We're only winning 24-17.
I know, yeah. And it was like, yeah, but you're winning 10 games. But it's like you would rather, and I mean, I'm guilty.
Yeah.
I'm guilty because I mean, I looked at a lot of those games like, hey man, this ain't gonna cut it. Like, this is crap. Oh, haven't y'all won 7 straight? Yeah, but I mean, they're just begging to lose. We're just begging to get beat.
The product is bludgeoning.
Yeah. So. I think that people
not to mention you putting players in the league with that style too.
Oh yeah. Go back and look at the track record.
Right.
But you, if the first time we have a game, say you're playing Michigan or Michigan State or somebody, and it's a game, and you really get out and go, and you've got some, and
like put a team.
Dunks make it feel like you're playing faster than you are.
Put a team on their heels.
Right.
Yeah. Listen, I will never back down off the. If you don't give up those last dunks against Florida State, you feel like the whole season's different.
Well, go back to your career. I mean, the North Carolina run. I mean, if y'all had hit some threes and laid up, I mean, you're like, oh, there's a big run, but I mean,
big win.
Yeah, like, I mean, it's iconic because y'all were just like dunking on them left and right.
Do you agree with the Jordan Wara team? Those last couple of dunks against Florida State like made us feel like the whole year was.
Yeah, I mean, that game was the one I think really pulled the air out of the fan base.
Yeah, and
that was a good year.
And we were playing good. We were
up the whole game. Yeah, and we lost Malik in the first 3 minutes of the game. But it was like when you get that, man, it's just like, oh, they finished it. You know what I mean? It's like, and that one really is what I think people to this day look back at that and you forget how good of a year they had. I was taking posters down off my son's wall, and that season was up there. And I was looking back through the logos of the games. I'm like, God, we beat that team. Like, oh my God, we went on a 14-game winning streak. And it was like, okay. And then we lost, 4, or we lost 3 of the last 6 or 3 of the last 7. And it was like Virginia, Florida State, Clemson, and Georgia Tech. That's what it was. So it was like 4 of the last 7. Yeah. And it was like, oh, but in the middle there, you're like, but we busted Syracuse, busted Carolina. We beat Virginia. We beat, and it was like
Georgia Tech, Clemson.
That week was kind of, but I still think the Florida State game, the way it ended, sucked the air out of it. I mean, even against Virginia, Louisville played well down in Virginia. They only lost by 3, something like that, 2 or 3. I mean, and they played pretty good on senior night. It's like, okay. But yeah, so I think this year, the first game you get where you run, because here's the other thing, man. All reports coming out of practice is Coach Mack is letting Coach McMains, be extremely hands-on. I mean, the way it was told to me was, and I don't think this is a negative thing towards Coach Mack. I think if you're implementing an offense, it's important. But the way it was told me was he is practically running. He ran the first day.
But Coach Mack said he has a system of implementation.
Mm-hmm.
So along with the offense, he has like almost a guaranteed step-by-step process to make this transition happen.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't want to just teach you the X's and O's to this. I want to teach you how to teach this offense. Like he has a full Tex Winter developmental strategy of the offense, not just how it should. So now you're learning the whys and you're learning the weaknesses of the defense by letting him teach the whys along with the execution and X's and O's. I tell you what, we'll take a last quick commercial break. Middays with Marcus Maben on 939 The Ville.
When you're looking for flavor, there's only one place to go, Wing Zone. We have 17 delicious flavors to choose from, including our all-new hot garlic. Wing Zone has daily lunch specials for only $9. Wing Zone is also currently hiring for full-time and part-time positions in management. We offer competitive wages and flexible scheduling. Please stop by any of our locations to learn how to become a part of the team. Wingzone.com. You got it.
Hey everybody, Steve Rummage here. And if you have listened to 93.9 The Ville over the last few months, you know I've reminded you of 3 simple words. Call Josh Jarbo. Josh is a licensed realtor and owner of RE/MAX Alliance, and with the spring market heating up, he wants to make your home buying or selling process as efficient as possible by offering a guaranteed sale program and instant offers on commercial listings. And if that wasn't enough, up to $5,000 seller credit by mentioning you heard it right here. So don't wait any longer and contact Josh Jarbo at 502-216-7590 or joshjarbo@remax.net.
Here's what you missed on The Drive with Mark Ennis.
You know how us bro dudes, we say fire and lit and bet and all this nonsense. And so they say a new one to me. And I want you guys to tell me whether or not you've heard this word before, the way it was used. And so
I know what it is.
We're eating barbecue, and one of my buddies looks at me and he goes, gas. I go, what? And he points down and he goes, gas, like at his plate. And I'm like, gas? What the hell you mean gas? Like you mean fire?
Is that the new fire?
I'm like, is that the new fire?
We're getting more elemental now.
Oh, wow.
We've passed fire to just the gas.
I mean, have you guys ever heard that? I mean, UPS Jobs text line 3831-939.
Yeah.
What the hell are these young bucks talking about?
The Drive weekdays 3 to 6 on 93.9 The Ville.
Focus has expanded its roster of flavors with 4 new big hitters.
Crisp apple, mixed berry, cherry cola, and root beer add to Focus's already impressive roster of flavors.
Focus has been our go-to drink for years when it's time for a pick-me-up around the office.
Focus is a naturally energizing caffeinated sparkling water, so it's free of any of the bad stuff you find in sodas and energy drinks.
Go to drinkfocus.com to find the full lineup of flavors and get them delivered right to your door.
Focus, Phocus. Try it today.
Now that sports have officially kicked off, there's only 4 things missing from your playbook. 4 pegs. Looking for great smoked wings? 4 pegs. Looking for juicy barbecue and award-winning chili? 4 pegs. If you're just looking for some cold crab, tap, can, or bottled beer, 4 pegs. And the best part about 4 pegs is it's right around the corner at 1053 Goss Avenue in Germantown. So you better get over there fast because the word is spreading. And while you're over there, be sure to ask about their food truck and other catering services.
CarMax is hiring experienced auto technicians nationwide. Join CarMax and you'll enjoy the opportunity to grow your technical expertise through customized training and work with state-of-the-art tools and technology. Work on the cars you love. Join CarMax. Learn more and apply today at CarMaxAutotech.com.
Commonwealth Credit Union is proud to be the exclusive volunteer partner for the 2021 Barbasol Championship, but we need your help. If you want an up-close experience on the PGA Tour, register to become a volunteer today. Volunteers are not only integral to the success of the event, but they have helped raise over $250,000 for the tournament charity Caddy 127. Registration for the 2021 Barbasol Championship Volunteer Program is now open. Visit ccuky.org/volunteer for more information today. Commonwealth Credit Union. Here, we see you differently.
Hey everyone, I'm Brandon Lang. When Matthew McConaughey plays you in a movie, as he did me in 2005's 2 for the Money, you have to maintain a certain image. That's hard to do when you're going bald. I needed to do something, and it needed to be done fast. Parsley Waldman's Hair Center came to the rescue. Louisville and the Midwest Premier Hair Treatment Center not only gave me my hair back, but my self-confidence as well. Go to hairsurgery.com and find out how you can start your journey back to a full head of hair today. I can tell you firsthand, from the minute you walk in the door to the time you leave, you are treated as if you were in a 5-star hotel. And now that it's been a year since my surgery, I look back at pictures from a couple years ago. I don't even look like the same person. The procedure was an amazing success, and it has totally reframed my face. Go to hairsurgery.com and find out not only how affordable it is, but how you can get your hair back today. Visit hairsurgery.com. That's hairsurgery.com. And tell them Brandon Lang sent you.
CarMax is hiring experienced auto technicians nationwide. Join CarMax and you'll enjoy the opportunity to grow your technical expertise through customized training and work with state-of-the-art tools and technology. Work on the cars you love. Join CarMax. Learn more and apply today at CarMaxAutotech.com.
You're listening to Louisville's hometown sports station, ESPN 680, 105.7, and 93.9 The Ville. Covering your teams.
I give our guys credit for being able to withstand a heck of a push and a heck of a run to make a few shots and get a few stops.
With the most local coverage.
But you know what? At the end of the day, you got to win games and you got to be tough.
We are your hometown sports station, ESPN Louisville and the ESPN.
What's up?
Louisville, good for 7 days a week. Or the Thursday special, 20 boneless wings for $14. Order online, wingzone.com. 2 locations, Hikes Point and the popular level location at Quarry Center.
Steve, I feel like I needed to do something different on the radio to dig me out of my anger, my football and basketball anger. I'm mad about the dunking. I'm mad about Chubba Purdy.
Yeah.
And look, I don't even know why I'm mad about Chubba Purdy. Like, I don't even know if he's an option or not. I'm just acting like he's an option and just saying we need him. And I'm just look, I didn't like what I heard.
I think he will be.
Really?
Just keep it going.
Okay.
Just keep it
So
going.
here's the thing. I didn't like what I heard. I heard Luke McCaffrey remind somebody around here of the Dino Gaudio situation.
Fair enough.
I heard
basically the same.
I heard somebody on local radio saying,
did he extort Louisville on the way out?
Right? Listen, I heard somebody else say, this is what I heard, Steve. This is why I've been in a bad mood, people. I heard somebody say, well, between McCaffrey and his brother, that's 3 transfers in 1 year, right?
Okay.
I didn't know he had another brother playing football and whatever.
No.
So I heard they obviously have a wandering eye, but it still says something must be wrong with Louisville, though.
Yeah, no. I think that story, I mean, now that it's out, I mean, I think it was pretty cut and dry what happened.
That's what I think too. But why do you the attempt to try to turn that into a bad look on Louisville?
No, I mean, you can't. I mean, if you want, I guess. I mean, but I'm not talking about the jackass that writes for. There's a guy that writes for Barstool. It's like a Kentucky grad.
God, yeah,
he just writes jackass articles and stuff. And in his articles, he puts like F Louisville. It's like, okay, yeah, funny. But anyway, it's like here's the thing. It was very clear. McCaffrey came in a couple of days of practice. Okay. Hope I'm not overstepping my bounds here, but he come in, he had a couple of days of practice. He felt like he came here to start.
Yeah.
Well, that's not how it works.
Right.
Okay. Especially when you really don't have and I think he would have been pretty good here.
I think we could use him in emergency duty early, but
I think
maybe he could develop.
They would have put a package in for him this year. But here's the thing: you've got a guy ahead of you already. I mean, you
with
know,
numbers.
with numbers that started, man,
knows the
that's
offense,
working hard, that has the respect of the team going into this year. Now, I do think this is the year for him. I don't think he would have a mediocre year this year and get the job again.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
you'd
have to move on.
I will say that. Yeah.
Okay.
But if he has a good year, I think he's the guy for the next 2 years. Okay. But here's the thing. Then you say, okay, we're going to put you out there and we're going to see what you got. And then when you just don't show up to practice and are gone.
Yeah.
I mean, I know this is really, I hate to do this as a little fan, and I'm saying this, or I know it sounds fan-ish, but see ya. I mean, and I'm saying that with the caveat, I think he would have been good here. So it's sitting like, oh, I don't even care.
Right.
But if that's
your attitude or your
bro?
Yep.
I don't. Yeah, later.
Okay, so Steve, the only thing these are some of the funner segments, especially in June. The only thing that's going to get me out of this is we got to go to the midday docket.
Ooh. Oh my God. Speaking of something,
I'm listening.
One last thing. No, you know what? I'm gonna tell you after the show. Go ahead.
Midday docket, and listen, I think I get to be a judge in the midday docket again as well. Still don't like those things. Midday docket, case number 700489. Steve,
I didn't know he was doing that case today.
Steve,
okay, what?
A lot of times I refer to the secretary, right?
Okay,
we'll just call her the secretary. Okay, so this is secretary versus dad. Okay.
Ooh.
Secretary has had some issues with her bumper, right? Okay. Secretary blames air getting up under the thing and pulling, kind of, working at the bumpers, maybe some shoddy dent work, but a couple little dingers in the car. Dad doesn't know if it's secretary's fault. Of course, secretary never takes responsibility, but dad is still dad, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, Secretary borrows dad's car while dad takes secretary's car to said mechanic, right?
Okay.
While secretary has dad's car, and when I say dad's car, have you seen Ferris Bueller's Day Off?
I have. Oh, yeah.
Dad's car is nice, but nice not because expense. Nice, like it's like a 96 Toyota, let's say Toyota Tacoma, right? Pristine, garage kept, wipes it down with the baby wipe every night. You know, his pride is in this car, Steve.
Okay.
I've kept this car perfect factory paint. I've never painted it. I've never done anything. I don't take it to the washing places. I wash it myself with my baby wipes. Like the perfect pristine car, right?
I'm with you.
She borrows this car. And I say, don't take that car out of that garage unless you need to go to the hospital.
Sure.
Don't drive that car.
Absolutely.
What does secretary do?
Drives the car.
Drives the car. Running to the store. Comes back. Hits the mailbox.
Of course you do.
Hits the mailbox.
Of course you do.
Doesn't realize she hit the mailbox.
Yeah.
Just, it's a truck. She drives a car. Just it caught the tail, right? The neighbor comes over, the next day and is like, yeah, that blue car, who was that? Whoever that was, they hit the mailbox, right? She knows that blue car's in her garage. She's like, oh, no, I'm driving that car, but, nothing's wrong. So I'm like, you hit that mailbox, right?
Fair enough.
So she finds out, she hits the mailbox eventually, finds the spot. Ooh.
Of course.
Nice. You scraped your dad's truck up, right?
Of course.
So now she's like, she's calling a repair shop. She's calling. First and foremost, Steve, does she need to report this accident immediately? She's going to have the car for, let's say, 5 days. Maybe enough time to get an emergency, gotta fix it.
No, if you can get it fixed, if you're going to get it fixed, right?
Yes.
I would listen as someone who has owned cars,
right?
I don't know. I guess does that put me in a place? If someone borrowed my car and they did something like that, and by the time I got back, they had paid to have it fixed nicely, not
Jack Leg,
Jim Bill down the street,
right?
I paint over it,
right?
Yeah, I bet you can. But had it fixed right, I would say, okay.
Is it a need to report that originally?
Yeah, I tell them. You need to tell them,
right?
Well, or just tell them after they come back,
after you get it fixed,
or maybe, or maybe you call and tell them and say, hey, look, this is what happened. I'm willing to pay. I'll pay for what. That's probably the way to go.
Okay,
say report it and then offer whatever it takes.
Okay, the car's at the paint shop, right? She can't take it. The pressure's on. She ain't told them yet.
Yeah.
2 days later, she buckles because she's rattled, right?
Yeah.
She tells him. Now he's driving back and forth by the paint shop. They got my car and they have to take it to the back. And I'm like, he's going to kill you.
Yeah.
Right? So here's the thing, Steve. Fast forward. It's day by day going by, right? Mm-hmm. They haven't called her, let her know the car was ready. It was supposed to be ready 2 days ago.
Right.
They ain't called her. It's been 5-6 days. She's freaking out. What have they done to my father's car? He went and got that car a long time ago.
I bet. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, he's like, hey, man. He went in there and was like, yeah, it's my car. Let's
right.
Get it rolling.
So here's the question. Here's the big question. She's mad at him because he didn't tell her he got the car. He's saying, I don't have to tell you. It's my car.
No, yeah.
And she's mad at the people who let him take his own car.
No, she's, look.
And listen,
lock her away and throw away the key.
I'll be honest about this, y'all. I went total chauvinist on this one.
Yeah.
I said, secretary, that man at that paint spot heard your story about this being your dad's truck.
Yeah.
He understood that this was a 96 pristine kept Tacoma truck.
Yeah.
He knew his dad, or he knew that man was serious about his truck.
Sure.
I said, they removed you. These are two men that removed you from this conversation.
Mm-hmm.
well, it's my license and it's my name and it's my credit card on the deposit. Shouldn't he have to call me? And I'm like, no. So what say you, Steve? Does the father owe any bit of explanation whatsoever if he went by, renegotiated, and picked up the truck or picked up the truck himself?
He doesn't. The place does.
Really?
That's my judgment.
Really?
Yeah.
She should wait. The place should have called
the place
her.
with her credit card on there. The place should have let her know. He does not know. That's my card that you wrecked. I went and got it.
Really?
Yeah. That's me. That's Steve Rummage.
What say you, Brian?
And
text in on that one too.
I'm with Steve. I think he's in charge of it.
I think with her financials, the place owed her.
Did her dad not tell her on purpose so she could sweat about it?
No, probably.
That was another thing.
Listen, the dad's fair. Everything he did was fair. Listen, I'm sorry. That's fair. He is ruled. We've already allowed him to leave the courtroom. Like, sir, you are completely innocent.
This has nothing to do with
I don't even know why you're here. You head on out
because it was his truck.
Yeah, thank you very much. Sorry we wasted your time. The company is the one I would say. You had to call her.
Y'all should have gave me a heads up.
Yeah, y'all had to call her, and you didn't.
So you rule in favor.
I mean, unless you're dealing with a minor here, which I don't think you are.
No, Steve.
Okay, this is a grown woman.
Yes.
So you can't say, "Well, Dad said it was okay." Like, no.
Okay. Right, but I'm like, yeah, you got it. Yeah, you just gonna have to own that one. Like, yeah, no, those two guys talked about it and they negotiated what was going on. And I think he just went there to make sure she wasn't getting ripped off, and probably wanted to check and see, make sure it wasn't like you said, Jimbo.
Yeah.
There's no. Where's the place at? Where's my truck? I want to see exactly.
But yeah, man, when my money's on the line, though, like, come on, right? Texter said, "Don't play with my money." Like, I agree with that.
Oh, you mean as far as the company?
The company, yeah. Like, hey, man, my card's on file. You know what I'm saying?
But she hadn't technically paid for it, I guess.
Well, yeah, but I mean, I think you still have my info,
yeah,
man. Like, at least be like, hey, it's closed out. Hey, he took care of it. Hey, whatever.
It's gone.
Yeah,
he's gonna come back.
Yeah, so that way I know, what's going on here.
So. Case rules in favor of the dad.
Yes, but as far as if this is a case between the dad and
yes, the dad and the daughter is the original case.
The dad,
but we are going to assign a fine and investigation. We're going to put an investigation on the company.
Yes, yes.
Case closed. Thanks for joining us on the Midday Docket on 93.9 The Ville.
That's perfect.
Oh, that felt better, Steve.
That was a good one.
That's why we got this segment. Y'all got to come with some midday dockets too, man. I know y'all got things going on, Brian.
No, I got to think about it. I'll come up with one for next week.
Yeah, when one happens, and y'all can just bring it right on to the.
I mean, I probably have 3 or 4 that I just haven't thought about.
Right,
I'm like, oh man, I should have brought that to the docket.
The moment you're pulling out of the garage when you're leaving the show, you're gonna think about it.